Julia.
Hello, Dr. Weston. Sunil's outside smoking. I wondered if we could speak for a moment.
Sure.
May I come in?
Of course.
You obviously weren't expecting the wicked, insensitive daughter-in-law. I have no doubt that's how he paints me. Am I wrong?
Can I ask what happened to your arm?
We had an argument.
We?
Who do you think? And things got out of hand.
When you say things got out of hand...
Out of hand, meaning he pushed me and I fell into a bookcase in front of the children.
Sunil pushed you?
And there was a nail head that wasn't hammered all the way into the wood. Visit to the emergency rooms, 3 stitches.
And how did this argument begin?
We're ending Sunil's treatment. Today will be his last session. This should cover today and one more for the last-minute cancellation.
Isn't it really necessary?
It would make me more comfortable. Take the check.
I'm not sure that I understand.
I don't think I could say it any more clearly.
Well, it's just that I've really started to make contact with him. We're starting to build an alliance.
With all due respect, Dr. Weston, if this is what happens when you build an alliance, then I feel for your other patients. Not to mention their families. He's gotten worse.
I have to respectfully disagree. I think he's beginning to really...
Well, you don't live with him, do you? There's been a sharp decline in his behavior ever since he started treatment.
Can you be more specific? Have there been other incidents?
He's been acting stranger and stranger by the day. He's back to hiding out in his room. When he does decide to come out, it seems perfectly timed. Just last night, he came out into the hallway after I put the children to bed. He just stood there, staring at me. Took everything I had to muster the courage just to walk past him. It's the way he looks at me. He doesn't even blink. I actually thought about calling the police. I can't imagine what he's telling you. I mean, what does he say about us?
Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to disclose details of my work with Sunil.
But I'm paying for this. God, what a waste. $220 a week for him to get even crazier. The simple fact is, you have not been helping. I need Arun to prescribe something stronger for his father, something that actually works. So please, take the check.
When you say that you considered calling the police...
It went through my mind. I wasn't really... I'm not as bad as you think I am. And there is a part of me that actually feels for Sunil.
In what way?
He's an attractive, middle-aged man. His life doesn't have to be over. It's almost as though he chooses to be miserable, and that in turn makes the rest of us miserable. The whole situation has made me anxious.
Sorry to hear that.
I'm not sleeping. I'm losing focus at work. I'm finding it harder and harder to concentrate on my manuscripts, my authors. Honestly, what would you do if you were in my position?
Honestly, I would keep him in treatment.
It's too late.
Can you tell me what you think led Julia to make this decision? Does it have anything to do with the bandage on her arm?
She has not already told you?
Well, she said that you'd had an argument and that you pushed her into the bookcase.
I pushed her?
Did you not push her?
Okay. So I walked into TV room. Sam and I were watching this, their favorite animated DVD for the 18th time this month. and I wanted to spend some time with them, and I could not bear this movie anymore, so I switched it off. So instead, I tried to teach them a Bengali folk song. So I was halfway through my first verse. Julia came inside the room, and she was furious.
Well, if I remember, she'd asked you not to teach Bengali.
This is a song, Paul. It's a song. This has much more relevance to life than this foolish, ridiculous cartoon fish. So Julia quickly raised her voice. So when Naya saw her raising her voice, she started crying. Sam saw Naya crying, so Sam started crying. And Julia told me to stop singing the song, and I would not. Chander aloe, stop. Bidai, Bondu Bidai, stop. And I wouldn't. My son came into the room, and he joined Julia's side. He said, Baba, you are scaring the children. I was scaring the children. I was scaring the children. They're yelling at me, was scaring the children. So when I tried to leave, Julia would not move out of the way. So I pushed past her. She lost her balance. She fell on this bookshelf.
So you're saying it was an accident?
Well, it's not a deep cut. Arun tried to tend to her, but of course she insisted on going to emergency room as if she was mauled by a tiger. So after they returned from the hospital, Arun came into my room and told me that I was disrupting their marriage, that I was creating disharmony in their household, and I must move down to the basement further away from children.
And what did you say?
The irony is, it's the same song Kamala and I used to sing to him when he was a small boy.
You said that Julia was in the way when you were trying to leave and that you pushed past her.
See, Paul, you need not concern yourself with this.
You know, this is going to be our last session. I want this to be clear. Did you push Julia?
She would not move out of the way, and I wished to leave, and I pushed by her.
But this is what I'm talking about when I say that you avoid answering my questions. What's the difference between pushed by and pushed? Where were the children?
Sam was crying, and Naya was hanging on to her leg.
And did you ask Julia to move out of the way?
They think her injured arm is a proof that my time with you has not been helpful, that it has made me worse.
But you have one more session. That's in credit. Julia paid me for canceling next week. At least tell me that you'll think about it.
Can I ask you a favor, Paul?
Of course.
I was wondering if you could please keep this for me. Now, after the argument on Saturday night, I could not be in the same house any longer. So I walked into the park. There's a field where South Asian men play cricket on weekends. I knew it was late, but I don't know why I found myself walking towards that field. The field was empty, but I found this. I sat on the bench for a long time, just turning the handle of this bat over and over. I thought, why have they left this behind? It's old, yes, slightly broken, but does it need to be discarded? Could it still not have some purpose? So I decided you should keep it, Paul. Perhaps once I'm gone, it will remind you of me.
That's why you want me to keep it?
And also because I should not keep it.
Why shouldn't you have it?
Arun is going for another conference to Chicago this weekend. And Julia will surely enjoy her time with Mr. Bill Fox.
Are you telling me that you're worried that you might do something with this bat? I need you to explain what you mean by that.
Will you please keep it? Please. Thank you.
What were you thinking about doing with the bat?
You know, when Julia is in her study, she faces the window with her back to the door. So if you are careful, you can enter without being heard. And she's so transfixed by her manuscripts.
What do you mean, if you were careful? Is this something that you've actually done?
I've imagined it. Even a broken bat can be quite effective. And I've played cricket several years. Paul, I have no idea why my mind is seized with these terrible ideas, you know. Do you think there's something terribly wrong with me? Something seriously wrong with me?
I think that what you're telling me today is disturbing. Clearly, in English, I want to get to the bottom of what you are trying to say to me. You just asked me to hold on to a cricket bat because you're afraid you're going to turn it on your daughter-in-law, that you're going to use it against her. Do you understand what you're saying? Do you understand the position that you put me in? Not just as your therapist, but as a person.
What position have I put you in? What am I doing?
I wish I knew. You know, you make these extreme statements full of violence and rage. You raise serious questions, but you don't give...
You encouraged me, Paul. You told me to express my anger.
That's
you asked
not
me
what
to
I
change
meant.
myself. I'm trying to follow your advice.
There's a very big difference between... Look, the things that you've told me over the past few weeks, I'm just not clear about any of it at the moment. I don't know whether you would actually ever hurt Julia, whether you pushed her or pushed past her. And what really happened with Malini?
With Malini?
Yes.
What?
I've had this feeling from the beginning. There are things you're not telling me. Hello, is this Julia?
Yes.
Hello, Julia, this is Paul Weston. Do you have a minute?